We all know the moment, the one where Maul kills Qui-Gon Jinn, leaving Obi-Wan with the task of training Anakin Skywalker, the Chosen One, and his death, along with his dying wish for Obi-Wan to train Anakin, ultimately led to Anakin becoming Darth Vader. This transformation brought devastating consequences, such as the infamous Order 66 is just one example. But what if we step into another timeline, to a different universe where Qui-Gon Jinn survived? In this universe, Qui-Gon Jinn survived, which would have made him Anakin's master, likely training him in the ways of the Force and guiding him to control its motions. Unlike Qui-Gon's mentorship, Anakin might have never become what he eventually did. The fight isn't called the Duel of Fates for nothing, and for all these reasons, Qui-Gon's death stands as one of the most pivotal moments in the Star Wars saga. And now enjoy the fanfiction, what if Qui-Gon Jinn had survived? The story begins on Naboo. In this alternate timeline, Qui-Gon Jinn defeats Darth Maul in the Duel of Fates. Instead of falling to the Sith blade, Qui-Gon skillfully overcomes Maul and kills him. The survival changes everything. Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi return to Coruscant with young Anakin Skywalker, where the Jedi Council debates the boy's future. After much discussion, the Council reluctantly agrees to allow Qui-Gon to take Anakin as his Padawan, and while Obi-Wan have proven himself in battle, is granted the rank of Jedi Knight. From the outset, Qui-Gon's approach to training Anakin is vastly different from the Jedi Order traditional methods. Qui-Gon's philosophy, rooted in understanding and balance, allows Anakin to explore his emotions rather than suppress them. Unlike the rigid teaching of the Council, Qui-Gon believes that emotions, when properly understood, can be a source of strength rather than a path to the dark side. And also, Anakin tells Qui-Gon about his feelings for Padmé Amidala, and Qui-Gon doesn't dismiss or forbid these feelings. Instead, Qui-Gon encourages Anakin to acknowledge these emotions and learn to control them. This guidance prevents Anakin from being consumed by guilt or fear over his attachments. Similarly, Qui-Gon permits Anakin to return to Tatooine to visit his mother, Shmi. Anakin's reunion with her is transformative. He saves her from captivity before a tragic death, allowing him to confront and release his fear of loss, which he now never had. The crucial intervention alters Anakin's trajectory. He no longer carries the same pain and obsession that plagued him in the original timeline. And as years pass, Anakin grows into a more balanced and composed Jedi. By the time of when Attack of the Clones would have happened, he's still a formidable warrior and an exceptional pilot. But his judgment is not clouded by arrogance or unchecked emotions. His relationship with Padmé flourishes with Qui-Gon's understanding and subtle guidance. However, this unconventional dynamic sets Anakin apart from the Jedi Council, who disapprove of his attachments to Padmé. They refuse to grant him the rank of Master, citing his divergence from the strict code. Frustrated but not consumed by anger, Anakin chooses a different path. Qui-Gon advises him to leave the Jedi Order and continue his training independently. Together, Qui-Gon and Anakin retreat from the Order, focusing on mastering the Force without the constraints of the Jedi Council dogma. This decision, however, does not go unnoticed by Palpatine. The Sith Lord, seeing that Anakin is no longer vulnerable to manipulation through fear or anger, shifts his focus to another extremely powerful Jedi who can now be easily manipulated, Obi-Wan Kenobi. He is feeling abandoned by Qui-Gon and isolated within the Jedi Order, and Obi-Wan becomes a prime target for Palpatine's schemes. Palpatine begins speaking to Obi-Wan privately, sowing seeds of doubt in his mind. Qui-Gon left you, Palpatine whispers during one of their conversations. He chose Anakin over you. But I see your potential, Obi-Wan. You are destined for greatness, not to be overshadowed. Palpatine's subtle manipulations preys on Obi-Wan's insecurities, presenting himself as a mentor and ally. And as Anakin completes his training with Qui-Gon, the galaxy is thrown into chaos. The Clone Wars rage on, and the shadow of the dark side looms ever larger. Years later, Qui-Gon and Anakin eventually return to the Jedi Temple, only to find it in ruins. And also in this timeline, Order 66 has been executed. The temple burns and the Jedi are nearly extinct. Qui-Gon discovers Mace Windu's lifeless body, realizing that Jedi has suffered devastating losses. Determined to confront the Sith, Qui-Gon recalls Yoda's teaching about the rule of two. He knows it must have been the master of the Sith he killed all those years ago. So, he and Anakin split up to confront each of them. Qui-Gon goes for the apprentice and Anakin for the master, because Anakin is now one of the most powerful Jedi in history. And Anakin heads to the Senate, where he discovers Yoda's lifeless body, and he knows the venerable Jedi Master has fallen to the Sith. And overwhelmed with his grief but maintaining his composure, Anakin knows this must have been the Master, and Anakin hears a sinister laugh. Palpatine steps forward, revealing himself as Darth Sidious. You have returned, Palpatine sneers. You have grown strong. But it could have been so much more. Join me, and together we will shape the galaxy. Anakin, unwavering without a word, he charges at Sidious. The duel is fierce, showcasing Anakin's mastery of the Force and his unparalleled skill with a lightsaber. Although anger and hatred surge within him, Anakin remains focused. Palpatine taunts only strengthen Anakin's resolve. Ultimately, Anakin disarms Sidious, severing his limbs and killing him. "You're too dangerous to be kept alive," Anakin mutters, justifying the act not through hatred but as necessary decision for the galaxy's survival. The training with Qui-Gon has succeeded. Meanwhile, Qui-Gon finds Obi-Wan, and so he confronts him. And Obi-Wan has now fallen to the dark side under Palpatine's influence. "You left me," Obi-Wan accuses, his voice filled with pain. "You chose him over me." Heartbroken but resolute, Qui-Gon unites his lightsaber, and the duel between master and former apprentice is emotionally charged. With Qui-Gon struggling to reach Obi-Wan, despite Qui-Gon's efforts to reason with him, and Obi-Wan's power, fueled by the darkness, overwhelms him, and Qui-Gon is ultimately defeated. But before Obi-Wan can deliver the killing blow, Anakin returns. He felt that Qui-Gon is in a tough situation, and so Anakin intervenes just in time, severing Obi-Wan's limbs to stop him, and Obi-Wan collapses, defeated but still alive, and Anakin and Qui-Gon, battered and weary, taking Obi-Wan into custody. With Sidious defeated and Obi-Wan imprisoned, Qui-Gon and Anakin take it upon themselves to rebuild the Jedi Order. This new order, free from the dogmatic constraints of the Jedi Council, emphasizes understanding, balance and compassion. Anakin views Qui-Gon not as a brother, like he saw Obi-Wan in the real timeline, but as a father figure and the guide he has always needed and would have needed in the real timeline. And this timeline is far from perfect, but it offers a glimmer of hope. Qui-Gon's survival and mentorship reshape Anakin's destiny, proving that a single choice or a single event can alter the fate of the galaxy forever. And this is the story for now. Write me all your thoughts in the comments, and should I continue? If yes, subscribe to my channel and like the video. And I know Obi-Wan is probably one of the best Jedi, and it's very unlikely that he has fallen to the dark side, but I think it's a cool idea and I wanted to do it. So yes, I'm the author, I can write whatever I want. And see you later.